Good morning, world. Stephanie here with Wild Wellness, and today's Wild Bloom, where you can wake up to bloom wild and enjoy a quick little Bllumination message brought to you through the combination of spirit, chants, and the fun use of oracle and tarot cards. I happen to find a lot of joy in providing these messages for you each day to lighten your spirit and to enlighten both your mind and your heart with the energy of love and the universe as it is manifested through me, as it flows through me in this particular form of the divine, as we are all forms of the divine. So these little wild messages are brought to you with the intention of helping you to take a walk in your wild side, the parts of you that need direction and some light shed upon, whether that be literal light or the energetic light of self-love and wild compassion. So this deck we have is the Wild Medicine Herbal deck, brought to you by Tamed Wild. So here comes Yoda, don't run over the camera. The first card that we have today is Crampbark. Crampbark is considered a muscle relaxer. Crampbark, it is a shrub growing up to 16 feet tall with 3-lobed long broad leaves. White corium flowers grow at the top of the stems with an outer ring of large flowers. The plant produces small red berries. Crampbark is, you would use the bark, and the historical medicinal uses include being true to its name that it does ease abdominal cramps. It relaxes muscles, the uterus, and other internal female parts, making it a popular herb for women during and outside of pregnancy. So this theme of women's cycles is coming up today, and women's health, which is one of the areas that I specialize in, is working with women and people who identify as female. You may use it in a decoction, a tea, or a tincture. I've also used Crampbark in a salve before, in oil with olive oil, and the ritual and lore includes that it hails from the Ukraine. Crampbark was commonly used in rituals created to aid a woman and her specific healing needs. Native Americans also used this herb as a smoking substitute for tobacco. Viburnum opulus, which I had mentioned before, and Crampbark is the plant that the statue in Kiev was holding up above her prior to this war. And so Crampbark has a rich history in both Russian and Ukrainian cultures. So when we're thinking about cultivating wild peace, and we're thinking about different ways to both illuminate the dark parts within ourselves as well as in the world around us, Crampbark can be looked at today as a plant that brings the message of finding the common good between us all, of relating to each other as human beings of the same family, maybe different plants, but still all plants, maybe from different parts of the world, but still all human. And so we can use Crampbark physically, check with your medical provider first, to help alleviate muscle cramps in our body. And maybe on an energetic level, we can think about how to use different plants to help alleviate the tension that is very thick in the atmosphere these days. So if you are having some tension in your life, calling on different plant medicines to help you to alleviate that tension. And speaking of soothing tensions and sores, marshmallow is the next that comes up. Marshmallow is a plant that was actually the roots of making marshmallows, as the roots was used. It's very demulcent, it's gooey, and mixed, cooked down and mixed with sugar to make the original marshmallow. And today, the kind of marshmallows that kids are roasting on the fire are not made with marshmallow root. Althea officinalis. It is used very commonly as a tea to help to soothe sore throats, to help to soothe sore tissues. It is used as a cough suppressant. It can reach up to 7 feet in height with erect stems and short-stalked cordate leaves that are velvety on both sides. Flowers are silky, pale pink, and the root is white. Traditionally used as a poultice for inflammation, a tea for sore throats, GI issues, or urinary tract infections. The mucilage constituent of this herb is widely known by herbalists as an effective remedy for cold, cough, and respiratory issues. It also has beautiful flowers on it, so it's a lovely visual for your garden as well, and a reminder of soothing tensions and soreness. You can use it as an infusion, cold infusion, syrup, poultice, or for and as well as for ingestion. During the Spanish Inquisition, those about to undergo torture would paint their bodies with a concoction that included marshmallow sap to lessen the effect of the burns and hopefully prove their innocence. So again, that rich lore and that goes beyond just medicinal properties. And yellow dock, also known as curly dock, and in Latin it is Rumex crispus. When I think of yellow dock, I think of healing the liver, and when I think of the liver on an energetic level, I think of healing the will to live and filtering out the toxins. The liver does a lot of very hard work for us over the years, and that sometimes one of the first things that we want to do when recalibrating our health routines would be to do some type of a cleanse or some type of a detox. And yellow dock is one of the plants, along with dandelion and burdock, that come to mind. It's also used even more so than that, because I wouldn't use yellow dock heavily, would be with respiratory issues, if I am correct. So the plant description: small leafy plant with yellow-brown roots and a branched stem that grows up to 3 feet. Its lance-shaped leaves are slightly ruffled, giving it the nickname curly dock. Traditionally used as a remedy for skin conditions, as well as a diuretic, tonic, liver supporter, and gentle laxative. Herbalists recognize this herb as a potent plant medicine for iron deficiencies. Tea, tincture, poultice, and salve. I believe yellow dock also has antibacterial properties. And in Gaelic lore, it is believed that fairies could possess children, and the use of yellow dock would break the fairy's hold and release the afflicted child. And so again, this is just some daily, little messages to give you something to think about, something to research, or something to soothe your pain. And so when we take in the energies of these plants on an energetic level, what I read from this is that bringing relief to the painful and tense parts of our lives through the energy of Crampbark, and thinking about war, even if we are not in the midst of it, and a reminder to be grateful for all that we do have, for those of us who are not in the midst of a crisis or human rights violation at this time. So bringing what we can bring to any and all situations that relieve tension, whether it be physical or energetic. Soothing those wounds, soothing that tension, soothing those burns with marshmallow. Maybe even bringing in a little bit of sweetness if you've made homemade marshmallow before. So soothing things, honestly, maybe with a little bit of sweetness, and utilizing those soothing and relaxing properties to give deep healing. Deep healing maybe on a physical level for some, and definitely on a global energetic level. And you can also think of maybe some individual or small group situations in your life that may need some relaxing and some soothing and some Curly talk, which just makes me think of Curly from the Three Stooges, and it makes me think of adding humor into that relaxing and soothing experience, adding a little bit of brightness with the yellow and some humor, as well as using, you know, as a liver supporter and a gentle laxative. So getting rid of that we don't need anymore in our lives, whether that be our own stinking thinking, our own negative thinking and fear, as they say, or whether that be just stuff in general that needs composted, that is expired and is ready to be made into nourishment for something new. And how to not let the BS in life, adult life, affect our children is the other thing that comes to mind for me. So when I share these messages, I also make sure that I'm taking in these messages for myself, and trying to apply them and to practice what I preach on all levels, which includes sharing of myself just the way that I am. So, Crampbark, relaxing tension and muscles, physically and energetically, individually and collectively. Marshmallow, soothing those burns, and maybe adding a little bit of sweetness, both individually and collectively, and adding some brightness and some humor to the cleansing, getting rid of the garbage in our lives that no longer serves us, transmuting that energy with humor, and just getting rid of the old to make way for the new, individually and collectively, with love and the wild medicine of nature and this lovely, beautiful herbal deck by Tamed Wild. Thank you very much for your time, folks. I hope you enjoyed today's wild bloom, and I look forward to being with you more and spreading the love. Don't forget to, as always, go in wild peace, plant some seeds, and be a blessing. Bye.